Good evening, Council. This is a prayer adapted from one given before Congress this past September by the Reverend Gene Hemrick. Let us pray. Lord of mercy, since the beginning of time, you have sustained us with your heartfelt love and care, a love and care that bonds us in friendship with you, with each other, and with the world. Lord, may you bless this council with a loving heart, which, more than anything else, has the power to touch humankind and renew friendly unity, which is the core of America's strength. Amen.
Thank you, Dan. With that, I'll call the meeting to order and ask that you please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Rose, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Boger?
Here.
Councilmember Wagner? Here. Councilmember Greenlee?
Here.
Councilmember Lindsay?
Here.
Councilmember McDaniel?
Here.
Councilmember Shoemaker?
Here.
Councilmember Forsee?
Here.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, the agenda will stand as is. Our first item this evening is a proclamation for Civil Air Patrol Week. Rose, do you have a way to turn this one down? Thank you. Civil Air Patrol Week. Whereas the Civil Air Patrol was founded on December 1, 1941, to supplement the United States military during World War II, and in 1948 was designated as the United States Air Force's official auxiliary with 3 missions: emergency services, cadet programs, and aerospace education. And whereas since Civil Air Patrol's beginning, the organization has set itself apart during the country's most tumultuous times, locating enemy submarines during World War II, assisting rescuers and state agencies immediately following the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks, heavily supporting hurricane relief efforts in 2005, 2008, and 2012, and in response to the Gulf Coast oil spill in 2010, as well as aiding communities during other natural disasters such as floods, wildfires, ice storms, and tornadoes. And whereas the Civil Air Patrol further provides vital homeland security missions that help ensure the protection of the nation's capital and the nation as a whole by assisting Air Force pilots with target intercept training and operations. And whereas the Civil Air Patrol provides exceptional education and growth opportunities for youth through its nearly 24,000 member cadet program, which annually provides access to top national summer flight academies, as well as national programs emphasizing leadership and careers in aviation. And whereas the Civil Air Patrol's aerospace education program annually touches more than 1,800 educators and more than 150,000 youth, teaching aviation concepts that emphasize aviation's connection to history, math, science, government, and economics. Now, therefore, I, Sean Gard, Mayor of the City of Washougal, do hereby proclaim December 1st through the 7th, 2016, as Civil Air Patrol Week, and congratulate the Civil Air Patrol for its 75 years of emergency service missions and its outstanding cadet and aerospace programs, which annually touch the lives and ensure the safety of thousands of American citizens. Dave. You're very welcome.
Want to make sure that we get the seal there.
And Sean, you're in there, so
Uh-oh.
you're the one that signed it. We do at least 2 more. And you want one just too big?
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
sir. Yes, sir.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Since we were founded in 1941, in the throes of thing the Air Force has flies slow enough. They're the Air Force Auxiliary. So we chase the drones for them, keep them in sight, which is the FAA regulation. We keep them out of trouble, warn traffic away, and that sort of thing. If you have any children or grandchildren, and they're interested in a military career, in an aerospace career, join them up with us. We'll teach them how to do it. 10% of the U.S. Air Force Academy every year are former CAP cadets. And they tend to advance very quickly in the Air Force Academy ranks. Thanks very much for entertaining us tonight.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you. Okay, with that, we're at the first opportunity in the agenda for any members of the public that would like to address council. Okay, seeing none, not your only opportunity. Moving to the consent agenda. Council this evening will be pulling item E, public hearing for Spyglass Hill Development Agreement, off of the agenda, which leaves you with 6 items on your consent agenda. Your workshop minutes of October 24th, 2016, your council minutes of October 24th, 2016, your accounts payable claims totaling $415,132.57, your payroll claims totaling $476,464.96, Agenda Bill 89-16, setting a public hearing for the Marlin Development Agreement, and Agenda Bill 90-16, setting a public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant applications for K Street. Council?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I ask unanimous consent that we approve the consent agenda as read.
See no objections, so ordered. Brings us to new business, Agenda Bill 91-16, an emergency utility assistance program approval. Jennifer, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you tonight, we have a utility assistance request in the amount of $250. The Finance Committee has reviewed this request and found that it meets the criteria and they qualify. So the recommended action would be to authorize the transfer of funds from the utility assistance program to the customer's utility accounts as approved by the Finance Committee.
Mr. Mayor, I move we authorize the transfer of funds from the Utility Assistance Program Fund to the customer utility account as approved by the Finance Committee.
Second? Do you need a second?
Yes.
I've got a first and second, motion and a second to authorize the transfer of funds from the Utility Assistance Program Fund to the customer utility account as approved by the Finance Committee. Any council discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain?
Motion carries. Thank you. Takes us to Agenda Bill 92-16, a resolution updating personnel policies. Good evening, Jeanette.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. On this resolution is a couple of items for you. The first of which is to clean up some of the language in Chapter 2A.05 of the personnel policies. You recall 3+ years ago, you approved a 3-year plan, transition plan for medical coverage and cost sharing with employees, the non-rep employees. And we're at the point where 2016 is status quo language, and that will carry forward for 2017 and beyond. And so this section of the resolution just simply takes out the obsolete language and leaves the 2016 as the status quo. The second item, which is Exhibit A of Chapter 2A, this is a 1.7% COLA for the non-reps for 2017. That says 2016 on your agenda bill. The recommended action is to read the resolution by title only, post the resolution in the usual manner.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Mr. Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that we read the resolution by title only.
Hearing no objections, so ordered.
A resolution amending Section 2A 2A of the city's Personnel Policy Manual with reference to the non-represented employees.
Mr. Mayor, I move we pass, post, and publish the resolution in the usual manner with the scrivener's change that the 1.7 COLA is for 2017. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
Second.
So I've got a motion and a second to pass and post the resolution in the usual manner, and noting the scrivener's error of the year 2016 should read 2017. Council discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Brings us to Agenda Bill 93-16, resolutions regarding the 2017 property tax resolutions.
Good evening. Tonight, we are going to have our public hearing for our property tax levies. But I wanted to have a quick presentation to remind you of what with the IPD, the implicit price deflator not being over 1%, I just wanted to provide some additional information before we opened up the public hearing. The mayor's proposed budget includes using 1% increase in property taxes, which is roughly $41,000. Using the bank capacity that we did last year for the 2016 levy of approximately $17,000. So to get this, we have to pass a resolution with the IPD at 0.953%, and then the banked capacity adds an additional 0.4236 to the levy, working with the assessor's office to get to a total of 1.3766% increase, which is captured in resolution number 1. Resolution number 2, because the IPD isn't over 1%, we have to do a substantial need resolution to capture the remaining 0.047%, which amounts to roughly $1,900. So in summary, approving resolutions 1 and 2 will authorize the property tax levy as included in the proposed budget. Just for options, we included resolutions number 3 and 4. Resolution 3, should the council desire to not do the full 1%, is just the IPD of the 0.953. And then resolution 4 would be to bank the remaining capacity of the 0.047%, if we choose not to actually impose that next year. I wanted to try to capture all the options available for the property tax for 2017. So the recommended action from the staff perspective is to open the public hearing and take public testimony, read the resolutions by title only, and then pass and post resolutions 1 and 2, levying the IPD of 0.953% and bank capacity of 0.4236% in the usual manner. And then passing and posting resolution number 2, finding substantial need and levying the 0.047% increase in the usual manner.
Okay, and we'll tackle those one at a time as we get to them, council, but for now I will go ahead and open the public hearing. Ask any members of the public that would like to speak to the resolutions and the ad valorem taxes for the year 2017 for the city of Washougal to please come to the microphone and give us your name, address, and any testimony. Second call for any members of the public that would like to speak to Agenda Bill 93-16. And this is the third and final call for any members of the public that would like to speak to the 2017 ad valorem tax resolutions. Okay, hearing no one, I will close the public hearing. Council?
Mr. Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that we read Resolution 1 by title only.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
The resolution levying the ad valorem taxes for obligations of the general fund for fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017.
Mr. Mayor, I move we pass and post Resolution number 1 leveling the IPD and the bank capacity in the usual manner.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second to pass and post resolution number 1, levying the IPD of 0.953% and the bank capacity of 0.4236% in the usual manner. Council discussion. Brent?
I can't make the findings of substantial need given our revenue situation in the last few years, so I can't support this resolution. I think it's kind of strange to go through these, I don't know what I want to call it, but intellectual games to realize a relatively small amount of money, and I just can't do it.
Point of order. This resolution does not include a finding of substantial need, am I correct?
Oh, it doesn't?
They're separate.
Oh, okay, all right, fine.
Resolution 1 is the IPD and the bank.
I withdraw my comments.
Don't worry. Any other council discussion? Dave?
The use of the bank capacity, does that expire if it's not used this year?
No, but if you recall last year when we banked the capacity, it had a value of approximately $30,000. And based on where the assessed valuation and our highest lawful levy, the value of it has decreased to $17,000. So it depends on where the AV lands and what our highest lawful levy is to determine what value you will have at a future date. But it does continue to be available at some dollar amount in the future.
Will it continue to decline?
If AV continues to rise, yes.
If assessed value declines?
Increases.
If
Oh,
assessed value increases, then the bank capacity will decline.
The value of it will
The
decline.
value of the bank capacity
Okay,
will
and
decline. We fully expect continued appreciation.
I'm betting that assessed value is probably not going to decline
Nope.
in the near future.
Nope.
Actually, I was about to jump on Mr. Boger's comments there in support. I have difficulty passing a 1% increase in property taxes based on the fact that our revenue situation has improved as much as it has. I might be willing to go for the bank capacity simply because it's going to continue to decline. And if I remember correctly, I voted against it last year, so shame on me. But I have trouble voting for an increase in property taxes with the current revenue situation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Dan?
Remind me again, what is IPD?
The implicit price deflator,
Okay.
they don't use CPI. It's the
Oh, okay.
valuation that they use to determine
It's
what
like
percent.
CPI.
A couple of comments. One of the reasons that they use the IPD is that the Consumer Price Index prices a basket of goods which the city does not buy. So the CPI is not really relevant to the city's cost structure except as it applies to COLAs. The IPD is a measure of the change in prices of all of the goods and services in the U.S. economy, not just a basket of 30 or so consumer goods. The other thing is, I feel very strongly that when times are good, we should rake in as much money as we can and put it in reserves as deep as we can. Then when times are tough, you can spend those reserves. It's a way of leveling your revenue. It's a way of avoiding having to do layoffs. The other thing is, everybody's heard the old saw about buy low, sell high. When we're in a recession, we can buy paving and water lines and sewer treatment plants much cheaper than we can when we're in boom times. So right now, we're already seeing substantial increases in construction costs. There are a number of projects that I am kind of dimly aware of that at this point are on hold because they can't find a contractor who will do the project for the price that they need in order to make it work. If there's one thing that we know about the present boom is that it will not last forever. There will be another recession. We can say that with certainty. So I would suggest that, especially because revenue is coming in strong, is why we should pull in revenue and put it in reserves so that we can spend those reserves when the revenue is short. That way we won't have to, as I said, we won't have to do the layoffs that we did last time. We also will have the funds available to buy things low, which is also a good thing. Thank you.
Brent?
Now that I've got my resolution straight, if property values go down, the value of the bank capacity then goes up, correct?
I don't know, I haven't done that. All I know is what we experienced this last time, and my understanding is because of AV. So it seems to follow that that would be true, but I don't know that for a fact because we didn't have bank capacity that we were looking at when we had declining AV context. But it seems to follow, but I can't tell you with certainty that's true.
Would it reappear? I mean, you basically said the value. You wouldn't know the answer to this question either, but I'd be curious about the answer to that. Would it return if the value goes down?
I do know that when values declined and then we hit our cap, it went away because we ended up
Completely.
losing bank capacity
We lost it.
at that point. So at the point that you end up being capped with your rate, you would lose it.
Okay. I do know that Washington has the most complex property tax laws in the country. I'm willing to bank the capacity, but I'm not willing to make the findings of substantial need for going above the IPD.
You're willing to bank the capacity or use the bank capacity?
Bank additional capacity.
So there's two banked capacities
Yeah.
on the table.
Two
So
different discussions.
resolution number 1, which is currently on the table, is to do the 0.95, whatever it is, whatever the IPD is,
Right.
as well as
And use.
using previously banked capacity that you banked previously that has now lost more than half of its value. And that's the 17,000. It used to be 30-something thousand, so roughly half of its value. That's the current motion that's on the table. The next resolution, which is not on the table yet but is being proposed by staff, is the one that makes the substantial need finding and would levy the remaining 0.047%. There's a further resolution that
If you care not to do that.
doesn't do that, if the council doesn't pass resolution 2, there's a further resolution which would bank the 0.047% for a future time. Most likely that would probably, well, I don't know, I guess it would get cut in half similarly the following year.
Good. Michelle?
I can't remember if you're able to do this on an average $300,000 house, because I know you said it varies by house to house even, what that means to the taxpayer. Do you have a
Which part?
generalized value of number 1, resolution number 1?
We do. We just need a minute to go back and find
Okay.
that presentation. We discussed that in a workshop.
Okay.
We did the savings we didn't do. Oh, wait, here we go. So the general levy would be approximately $746 in 2017 versus $801 in 2016.
Okay.
And that has to do with the increase in the AV, which made the rate go down. So there's multiple factors that affect what your tax bill will be. And with the AV increasing, that had the rate come down, which makes the tax bill.
So that was 746 and 801, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
The levy that the staff is proposing and that's on the table brings in more total money to the city by the dollar amounts that Jen showed, but the individual impact to an individual taxpayer of a $300,000 home is actually a tax reduction of $55 annually.
And that's because of the EMS?
No, that's because of the assessed value going up, and there's more tax-paying base
More to spread it over.
Okay, all right.
to spread it across. Now, when you add in the EMS going away,
It's an even larger savings.
save another $132 annually. So that's why this budget is a property tax reducing budget, even with a 1% increase and with using the previously banked capacity that has since diminished. And the only point I would make in terms of, and it's not on the table now, but just because it's part of the conversation, in the resolution on a finding of substantial need, and yes, it's $1,936 or whatever it is. We do have additional revenues, but we're not funding all of the needs and priorities that the community has and that the council has. There's still some.
I guess that's where I'm coming. I have trouble making a finding of substantial need for $1,900.
Yeah, even at a staff level, I won't say that we struggled with it, but it was kind of like, let's not even bring it forward. But then as you reflect back on it, at the same time, we've still got a structural deficit. We're still going into the red. We're not in the red. We won't be in the red, but with the structural deficit itself, you're in the red. So my directions to staff were to go ahead and put it on there. If you choose not to do it, it's not a lot of heartache. We just didn't want to send a mixed message and say, yeah, no, we don't need more money. We actually do. We're still, that delta is still there. So for that amount of money, though, it's nothing compared to the budget. But to bring us back, though, this motion and second is on resolution number 1, which would capture just the IPD of 9.953 and the bank capacity. So that's the question that's before you right now. Dave?
Thank you, Paul. Is it possible to separate the two issues there, the 1% increase and the use of the bank capacity?
It's possible, and you could certainly make a motion to amend it to break it apart.
I would move to divide the issue between the 1% increase and the use of the bank capacity.
Is there a second?
I think Paul's got an objection here based on form.
Well, no, it's not a 1%. It's 0.953.
53.
I stand corrected.
So I've got a motion to separate the two amounts. Is there a second to that motion? Okay, motion dies for the lack of a second. We still have the.
But isn't resolution 3 doing exactly that?
No.
No? Oh.
It does, because it's the IPD only. That
Yeah,
would assume that you wouldn't want to use.
Yeah.
So resolution 3 is the IPD only?
Correct.
Okay, that's the one I would support.
Okay, so I've got a motion and a second on the floor to pass and post resolution number 1. Yes, Paul?
Refresh my memory again. With no EMS levy, that's a reduction on a $300,000 house of,
$132.
and this motion would take part of that back. How much of it?
No, wouldn't take any of it back. This motion would result in a $55 decrease.
So, in other words, by passing this, we're giving them $180,
$87.
$187 reduction.
This would be almost a $187 because this doesn't pick up the .046
Right.
yet. So
Right.
yes, but yes.
Okay.
Essentially, yes.
Thank you.
There is nothing that you can do councilmanically that is going to increase the city portion of a bill for a $300,000 house, just because of all of the factors that are at play. However, what this action will do is give the city as a whole .937 or whatever the number is more total revenue from property tax, plus a fixed sum of $17,000 from the prior banked capacity.
But from the homeowner's point of view,
Their bill's going to go down.
their bill is going to go down $187.
Correct.
Something in that area.
Yes.
Depends on what
Within
you do
cents.
tonight.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Dan?
Mr.
So
Mayor,
what is
could
that?
you explain that? How an increase in taxes is going to lower the amount that people pay?
Because the overall valuation of the entire city has risen enough that it actually decreases the amount individually that you're paying towards it.
As Councilman Boger pointed out, we have the most complicated property tax laws in the country. When we talk about a levy, that's not a rate, that's an amount.
Right.
So if we increase our levy amount by 1%, but the total assessed value goes up 5%, then the tax bill for each individual person goes down.
So why are we raising the rate in order?
We are not raising a rate,
You're not-
we are
you're- you're
raising
not doing
an
anything to a rate.
amount. A levy is an amount, not a rate. We're raising an amount by .953.
The average homeowner drops $187.
Yes.
How do we get the amount?
Because there's that much more that it's being levied against. If the valuation's going up from $1.5 billion to $2 billion of valuation, there's more of it to spread it over.
An individual person's tax.
Keep in mind, we're talking millage, so we're talking about per thousands.
Yeah, but when you spread it, it comes in.
An individual person's tax amount is, they have an assessed value on their home. That assessed value is a percentage of the total assessed value in the community. Their tax bill is that same percentage of the total levy, which is an amount. So the amount of money that someone pays is relative to the size of their property relative to the total assessed value in the community. So it's a share. There's never any rate calculated until the end. It's not a millage rate. In Oregon, they do millage rates. We don't do that here.
So the amount that we're collecting goes up, but the individual contribution goes down because of the increase in the assessed value,
In the overall assessed value.
overall assessed value. So that will not be evenly distributed though across the,
That's correct. Some people's assessed value may go down and others may go up significantly. Those whose assessed value went up more than the percentage of the total assessed value will have a higher tax bill. Those whose assessed value is a smaller portion of the total TAV will have a smaller tax bill.
got it, thank you.
Dan?
So Dave, based on your model of the $300,000 home and your, from the homeowner's perspective, getting a rate break or a dollar break of $187 under this proposal, how do you contrast that with if we went with resolution number 3 only?
Resolution number 3
The-
is just the IPD.
Yeah, so
Um,
we need to find another $17,000,
Right.
or actually to some degree 17, we'll call it 20,000 with that and the additional amount in there.
Right.
Which can be done. Even the Scotch-Irish in me, though, will tell you that by the time we get to next year, that bank capacity will probably be worth 0, in which case we just flat lost it. At a time that we've still got structural deficits. Michelle?
If we use that bank capacity this year, what does that mean next year? You have the IPD, and then do you create another bank capacity if it's not at the 1%, or?
Well, hopefully, it would be our wish that tonight you would, at the very least, create another bank capacity. Because of the amount, if you're not gonna pick up the resolution of substantial need, there's still another, small amount in there, 0.047%, that is kind of left out there because the IPD is less than 1.
Is that resolution 4 that does that?
So even if we pass resolution 1, we would be, you would want to bring forth resolution 4?
If you passed resolution 1,
Yeah,
picking up the IPD of 953 and the banked capacity, just the 17,000 that's left of it, and you did not adopt resolution number 2, we would be asking you to adopt resolution number 4,
okay.
which doesn't commit you to taking it.
Right.
It just banks it so that if it's in some year you choose to use it.
But that also has a substantial need finding,
Correct.
Oh,
which is my problem with
okay.
it.
Okay.
And if you pass resolution number 1, resolution 3 wouldn't be necessary,
Right.
because it's just the IPD only.
Mhm.
Can you throw the resolutions up on the screen there?
They're long. Jennifer?
Clarification, resolution number 4 requires majority plus 1 vote. Is that correct?
I believe 2 and 4 would require that because they're substantial need resolutions.
It's in section 4, so I was just clarifying. Section 4 of resolution 4 states it needs a majority plus 1 vote.
That would be true for resolution 2 as well.
Okay.
There'll be a test of all this material on
That's
Friday.
right.
Tell you, if we just had paper copies, this thing would be easy.
That's right. You just put it on the projector.
We still have one.
We still have.
We just don't have a screen.
So here's our new system that we haven't rolled out to you yet. That works much better, and Mitch has it on his iPad. So these documents are linkable attachments right off the Dropbox agenda bill.
So this
We're
is
getting
resolution
close to
number
rolling
1.
it out.
Which one are we looking at?
This is number 1.
Number 1.
I don't know what part you want.
That's okay, I was thinking of a summary, so this, you know, I I've read this, I'm familiar with it.
Well, that you've got, do you have your presentation, Jen?
Which presentation? Yes.
Because that's got basically your summary on there.
Have a motion and a second on the floor to approve resolution number 1, correct?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Jen?
Well, we have a resolution on, I mean, it's already on the floor, motion and a second to
Yes.
approve the resolution number 1.
Yes.
I see resolutions 1 and 2 on there, but I don't see resolutions 3 and 4, and that's.
There you go.
Okay, so right now we've got a motion and a second to pass and post resolution number 1, which would levy the IPD of .953 and would also levy the banked capacity of .4236. Everybody ready for a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Rose, let's do a roll call, please.
Councilmember Boger,
No.
Councilmember Wagner,
Yes.
Councilmember Greenlee,
Yes.
Councilmember Lindsay,
Yes.
Councilmember McDaniel,
Aye.
Councilmember Shoemaker,
No.
Councilmember Corsi.
No.
4 to 3, we don't need an additional vote on this one, correct? So that passes. And now, council, it's up to you whether you take up resolutions 2 or 4.
Mr. Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that we read Resolution 2 by title only.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Washougal finding and declaring that a substantial need for using the 101% limit factor under Chapter 84.55 RCW with regard to the levying of regular property taxes for collection in 2017.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass the ordinance for Resolution 2. It is an ordinance, is it not?
Resolution.
Resolution.
It's a resolution.
They're all resolutions.
So I move we pass Resolution 2 as described.
Is there any second?
Second.
I've got a motion and a second to pass and post resolution number 2, finding substantial need and levying the .047% increase in the usual manner. Council discussion. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
No.
Roll call?
Councilmember Boger,
No.
Councilmember Wagner,
No.
Councilmember Greenlee,
Aye.
Councilmember Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilmember McDaniel,
No.
Councilmember Shoemaker,
No.
Councilmember Corsi.
No.
Motion fails.
Mr. Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that we read Resolution 4 by title only.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Washougal finding and declaring a substantial need for using the 101% limit factor under Chapter 84.55 RCW with regard to the levying of regular property taxes for collection in 2017.
Mr. Mayor, I move we pass Resolution 4.
Second.
I've got a motion to pass and post resolution number 4 in the usual manner. Council discussion?
Point of clarification, in the summary, I did not hear anything about banking that capacity.
It's in Section 5. If you read on the back of Resolution 4, Section 5.
Okay, but I just, since it wasn't in the summary, I just wanted to make sure that it was clear to everyone
Yes,
that this does bank the capacity.
correct.
Doesn't levy it, it banks it.
Right, this is not levying the .04, it's banking. This is the same action that you took last year, but for a different amount.
Okay, so I've got a motion and a second to pass and post resolution number 4 in the usual manner, which would bank the leftover capacity. Any council discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember
No?
Councilmember Wagner,
No.
Councilmember Greenlee,
Aye.
Councilmember Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilmember McDaniel,
No.
Councilmember Shoemaker,
No.
Councilmember Corsi.
No.
Motion fails. Okay. Believe that effectively takes care of everything we have on there. Moving to Agenda Bill 94-16, the 2017 Budget Ordinance and Public Hearing.
The mayor's 2017 proposed budget was made available to the public on October 24th, and a public hearing is being held tonight, November 7th, and was advertised once a week for 2 weeks as required by law. We've discussed this budget with the council on August 22nd, 29th, September 12th, September 26th, and October 24th. One note is on the, I'll have to make the changes that were just done. There's a slight change that I'll need to make in the ordinance. But otherwise, we'd like to open the public hearing and take public testimony, read the ordinance by title only, and pass, post, and publish the ordinance in the usual manner.
Thank you. With that, I will open the public hearing and ask that any members of the public that would like to speak to the 2017 budget for the city of Washougal, please step forward to the microphone and give your name, address, and your testimony. Second call for anyone that would like to speak to Agenda Bill 94-16, the 2017 budget ordinance. And third and final call for any members of the public who would like to speak to Agenda Bill 94-16, the City of Washougal 2017 budget. Okay, with that, I will close the public hearing. Council?
Mr. Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that we read the ordinance by title only.
Hearing no objections, so ordered.
An ordinance adopting the annual budget for the city of Washougal, Washington for the 2017 fiscal year.
Mr. Mayor, I move we pass, post, and publish the ordinance in the usual manner.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second that we pass, post, and publish the ordinance in the usual manner as to be slightly amended by staff, given the budget resolutions.
Yes, that's certainly acceptable.
Yeah, to me as well.
Okay, I've got a motion to pass, post, and publish the adjusted budget ordinance in the usual manner. Council discussion. Dave?
Mr. Mayor, I'm not prepared to vote on this tonight. There are a number of things in this budget that I'd like to bring about for separate amendments to get them out of the budget, which I'll be prepared to do next time. And therefore, I would have to abstain tonight or vote no.
Okay. Any other council discussion? Okay, I've got a motion and a second to pass, post, and publish the ordinance in the usual manner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
Motion carries. Thank you. I believe that's the earliest we've, at least in my history as mayor, that we've passed the budget. Thank you.
In my history on council.
Thank you for starting early
You're welcome.
as far as the budget discussions and presentations. It does help.
Yes, if I could just make a comment that the staff was exceptional this year, and we were starting in on this in March. And so we had plenty of time to think about it and worry about it, as I'm sure you all did too. So many thanks to the staff, top to bottom.
I finished my review on foreign soil, and I came to the conclusion that it was a good budget. So I don't know if that's beyond the jurisdiction of the city, but I decided to vote for it in Costa Rica.
Awesome. Did you do the exchange back and forth each time?
That's right, in Colones.
Well, thank you very much. That brings us to the second opportunity in the agenda for any public comments. Any members of the public that would like to address council? It's okay. Under Mayor's Report, I have only one item for you, unless I'm forgetting some scheduling items. Turkey Bingo, coming up November 18th and 19th down at the Fire Hall. With that, council members, Brent?
Nothing for me.
Michelle?
Nothing.
Paul?
There was at Regional Transportation Council, there was an offer of a resolution, I think it is, that was put forward by former Transportation Commission member and two, I think, speakers of the House of the state of Washington, which asks RTC, but also all of the cities and the county, to ask the Department of Commerce to designate the I-5 corridor, and specifically the I-5 bridge, as a project of economic significance to the state of Washington. There is no mention of tolling. There is no mention of light rail. All it does is say, this is a project of economic significance to the state of Washington. I will have a copy of the resolution as provided. I think I left one with David, and he can send it out to anyone who wants to make comments at the next council meeting.
Isn't that a bit of an understatement, that it's a project of significance to the state of Washington?
Well, I think so, but, you know, I would have thought so some time ago.
I think it's a project of economic significance to the United States.
I agree.
Yeah, I think from my understanding of the issue, it's just to literally try and start another path towards the discussion of what we do with the I-5 bridge and that crossing down on that side. So I know it came to the mayor's, was presented to the mayor's group a week or so ago, and none of us saw really any problem with it. It doesn't, as Paul said, it doesn't get into what a bridge replacement might be or not be. It doesn't get into light rail, doesn't get into any of that. Just, again, just recognizes formally that that the bridge replacement is a substantial project that needs to be undertaken in some way, shape, or form. Dan?
Does that mean that another bridge, is that saying that another bridge is outside consideration at this time?
It doesn't speak to that one
Yeah.
way or the other.
From everything I've seen, it just says, figure something out, because the status quo doesn't work. So all of that yet to be defined what that is.
Yeah, there's, in the resolution that I saw, there was no mention of any alternative bridges.
Or the exclusion of any.
Or the exclusion of them. I would, however, point out that if you want to talk about a third bridge, the property acquisition would require more than a decade.
And we should start now.
So it's not a solution to the I-5 problem. Other things worth mentioning, on the 16th, which is a week from this Wednesday, the Unite Coalition has its coalition meetings. One is at noon and one is at 4:30. We do the two meetings so that people who can come to one but not the other, because of timing, that we can satisfy a bigger group of people. That's all I have.
Thank you, Joyce.
I have two things, and I missed both of them, but one was the Halloween party that was held that I guess was a tremendous success, and I was sorry I wasn't there. And the other one was the installation of the fire element at Steamboat Landing. And Molly, it's nice to see you here this evening. That was for her husband, Phil Harris, who is a friend of most of us. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Jennifer?
Just a reminder, please vote. Tomorrow's the deadline, so don't let it go by or still remaining, sitting on your kitchen counter. Get it out there, get it turned in. And also just confirming that our next meeting, we're gonna have a meeting on the 14th, is that correct?
Yes. Mitch, you've got items coming forward on the 14th. Do you need the meeting of the 21st, though?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll have our 2 regular meetings. Or actually, no, 2 back-to-back.
That would be our 3.
Our third meeting on the 21st, correct?
I didn't know if you had any of that for the 21st. We could defer to the 5th.
We have stormwater on the 21st and then hearing on the 5th, along with the 3 other hearings for development agreements on the 5th.
So I think what I'm hearing is if we want to get rid of all the meetings except for the 5th in December, we have to meet the 21st.
Yes.
Okay, so 7th, 14th, 21st, what about the 28th?
No, we only have the first 3.
Okay.
And you're scheduled to meet the first 3 Mondays in December, but the last couple of years, we've been able to conclude the year's business at the first meeting in December, and that's our hope again, and that the mayor could cancel the other 2.
Sounds like it's up to Mitch. He holds all the cards right now.
You'll have it on your agenda.
Well, no, if you've got things that need to come forward, though, that can't get stuck in there, we don't want stuff stopping.
I thought our rule was that we wouldn't meet Thanksgiving week. And then it was, yeah, that's what my recollection.
Take a peek.
I think you're right.
Mitch is going, no, no, no.
Christmas week, I mean, I'm here all year.
That's the guiding group choices.
Every Friday, 7 p.m.
Forgot about that.
So it'll be the 28th that we would,
Right,
I would have
which is the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that better than the Monday before Thanksgiving?
Makes no difference to me
doesn't make any
whatsoever.
difference to me.
I would prefer the 28th.
I would go with that, yeah.
If you want to call a special meeting for the, I don't know about the other counselors, it makes no difference to me if you want to call a special, I know it's not a special meeting, or, I guess it is a special
It would be
meeting.
a special meeting.
On the 21st, or we can change our rule on the 14th. Just in the year, for the year 2016, we'll meet on the,
You could do that right now.
you know,
I think Mitch needs to confer with Rose about notices that have already gone out or not gone out.
Legal notices.
My own view is that notices have gone out for the 21st. Let's stick with the 21st.
Is anybody not in town on the 21st or the 28th?
I'll be gone on the 28th.
Okay.
I leave the 22nd.
I would like to be out of town the 28th.
So it sounds like we're okay if we want to bring forward next week a change to our rules to meet the 21st instead of the 28th, and we'll try and keep the agenda down to the bare minimum of what we need to bring forward on the 21st.
I think the council could suspend the rules right now. But I
So
think we
moved.
just need, one little bit of information before we're totally comfortable.
we could suspend the rules next week.
Well, wait,
Yeah.
no, because we'd be fine, because we'd already done it. Yeah, so yes, if you decided to do that and that's comfortable, you could suspend the rules for this year so that you would meet first, second, and third and suspend the Thanksgiving exception.
I've got a motion from Paul. Is there a second to suspend the rules and meet on the 21st rather than the 28th? I've got a motion and a second. Any council discussion? Jennifer?
Then, okay, so our regularly scheduled council meetings are 2nd and 4th Mondays. So that would mean that, would we send out a notice saying there won't be a meeting on the 28th? Or how does that work?
No, that's good. January through October, and then November and December, you have the first, second, and third,
Okay.
except for,
Unless the third Monday falls on Thanksgiving week,
Okay.
in which case it shall be held on the fourth Monday. So if someone's paying attention to that, they might think we're going to be here on the 28th. So we might we could put something on our website and,
I heard somebody talking about that at Weimar.
Sure.
You go to Weimar?
Okay, any other council discussion?
No.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second to suspend our rules and meet on the 21st of November instead of the 28th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Dave? Jennifer, was that all that you had?
Yep, that's all I have.
Okay, Dave?
Thank you.
Two things. One, there'll be a public safety meeting on the 21st of November at noon here in council chambers. The subject will be revisions to the blasting ordinance. I know that's going to excite everybody to come to the meeting. The fire department will be presenting that, and I think what he's got in mind is to sync our blasting ordinance with that of Camas. It's a fire department issue. It's not the sort of exciting things that brings the public out, but you're welcome. Secondly, Paul, I am certainly in favor of a resolution to indicate the significance and the importance of solving the I-5 transportation corridor problem. Ruling out the third bridge would kill my support right then and there.
It does not rule it out. It doesn't mention it one way or another.
Okay? I don't think a 10-year acquisition for property acquisition timeline is problematic. That's all I have.
Dan?
I would second your remarks on that. They could have been done by now.
Bless you, kind sir.
Nothing new at this time.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say one last thing. Thank you for recognizing the Civil Air Patrol.
You're welcome.
It's a great group.
You're welcome. Thank you for your service on that.
Let me just add, believe it or not, I was a Civil Air Patrol cadet when I was a sophomore in high school, freshman in high school.
Good for you.
I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
See how you grew up? It's wonderful.
We are adjourned. Thank you.